What's good, everybody? Mr. J here, back with another video, back with some news that may or may not change the landscape of Mopar as we've come to know it for the past couple of years. Woke up this morning, found this story, made my day a little bit brighter. Wanted to bring it to you today, share my thoughts and views with it, and kind of come to a decision whether or not this is going to be a good change or a bad change for the future of Stellantis. Let's roll that intro and get right into it. Before diving in, I just want to take the time to say, hey, you could be watching any other video on YouTube. You're watching this one right now. That means a lot to me. Appreciate each and every single one of you. With that, let's dive right into today's topic at hand. I woke up this morning, read this article before I even got out of bed. Like I said, it made my day a little bit brighter. So we're just going to dive into the story here. So Stellantis hits the brakes on EVs, brings back internal combustion power for Charger and Challenger. That's a lot going on in that title. It pretty much tells you everything that Mopar fans want to hear. In a move that is bound to make muscle car fans smile, Stellantis is shifting gears and bringing internal combustion engines back to the Dodge Charger and Challenger. The automotive giant, which had previously put all its chips on electric vehicles, is now rethinking its strategy and reviving the rumble that made these cars legends. And if that's not enough to get your engine revving, the decision is also set to create thousands of new jobs in the process. The Dodge Charger and Challenger. Now, we all know that the Challenger is no longer on the roster right now, so that is not a car that is currently available from Dodge. So this is alluding that the Challenger is coming back. Moving on, why the sudden change at Stellantis? Stellantis's pivot comes as market trends and consumer demand indicate that America isn't quite ready to let go of its beloved gas-powered muscle cars. You think? While EVs are gaining traction, the passion for the sound, feel, and raw power of traditional V8s and turbocharged six-cylinders still runs deep. Feedback from the loyal Dodge community played a critical role in the decision, with many enthusiasts expressing concerns about losing the heart and soul of their favorite rides. Again, didn't listen to us 3 years ago? What this means for Charger and Challenger. The return of ICE means that upcoming versions of the Dodge Charger and Challenger will once again pack serious heat under the hood. Expect to see the return of the powerful Hemi V8s and perhaps some modernized inline turbo 6 options, the Hurricane engine. While Dodge has teased electric versions of these iconic nameplates, the latest reports suggest that internal combustion will remain an option for those who crave the growl and performance that made the Challenger and Charger household names. On the design front, Dodge is rumored to blend classic muscle car styling with modern performance tech, ensuring that these models not only perform but also look the part. Whether it's aggressive wide-body kits, functional hood scoops, or retro-inspired interiors, the upcoming models promise to be a hit both old-school gearheads and new generation muscle car fans. Jobs on the rise. Stellantis, I'm not going to read all of this, but it's, basically saying that there's going to be a lot more jobs because of the boom of, bringing back the engines. What about electric vehicles? While Dodge isn't abandoning EVs altogether, development is reportedly taking a back seat for now. The company still sees electric power as a vital part of its future strategy, but it's opting to take a more measured approach. Expect to see hybrid options of electrified performance models down the line, but for now, it's all about keeping the muscle car tradition alive. Many experts believe this pause allows Stellantis to reassess battery technology, infrastructure challenges, and customer readiness before making a full-scale shift to electric. With the performance EV market still in its infancy, Dodge appears to be playing it smart by sticking to what it knows best, building brutally fast, loud, and exciting cars. Looking ahead for Dodge fans, this announcement is nothing short of a dream come true. The return of internal combustion in the Charger and Challenger ensures that the legacy of American muscle cars lives on, at least for the foreseeable future. Whether you're a diehard Hemi fan or just someone who loves the roar of a powerful engine, the future looks bright and loud. Yeah, not so frat sonic sound chamber. Okay, so a few things to unpack here. Quite a few things to unpack here. As I already talked about a little bit, it does specify the Dodge Charger and the Challenger. So I would be interested to see if we can verify that the Challenger is coming back with the return of the ICE engines. That would be pretty cool. As a Chrysler 300 owner, I really don't have too much of an interest in the Chargers. I mean, I'm glad that they exist. I'm glad that people have them and they love them. My personal preference is the 300. So 300 gang, but as far as the Challenger coming back, that's big news. Now, personally, when I take a look at the brand new EV model of the Charger, I really feel like the design language was combining the Charger and the Challenger together into one vehicle, especially since it released in a two-door version. I know they made a four-door version, but it was almost as if they were giving you the Charger and the Challenger in the same package. Personally, I find that to be a little bit lazy, but I kind of feel like that's the trend that we're seeing with Stellantis, and that's what gives me pause with this. Is it necessarily a good thing that they're bringing back the V8 engines? Are they going to add development to the V8 engines? I mean, and I would be speculative too, because the reports say that it's bringing ICE engines back. So how much of this is confirmed and how much is this conjecture and assumption, by the writers? Is it confirmed that the V8s are going to come back, or is ICE engines going to be the inline six? Tremendous difference between V8s and inline sixes, or just sixes, period. Correct? So I would be interested to see if the Hemi is coming back. I feel like the big push to get rid of the Hemis was because of all the government fines and everything that be handing out. We know how many they sold and how many fines that they had to pay just to keep all of those on the road and continue selling it. It became a business model that didn't support each other, right? So it seemed a little backwards to go back to the V8 and continue to accrue government fines when you're only going to lose money. Seems like this would be a move that is made in the interest of gaining money, not to lose money. So I kind of have my doubts whether or not the actual V8 Hemi is going to return. I think we always kind of heard about the inline six, even when they said that they were going to cancel the V8s. I think they said the inline six, the Hurricane engine, was going to be basically the next man up. And that would be a way that they can avoid those fines. So it wouldn't surprise me if V8s did not come back and the inline sixes start just popping in there. That would be the top model. But we're going to go ahead and take a look and see if we can confirm any other detail. What we got here? We've got Stellantis shifts focus. Jeep, Dodge, and Ram set for a big comeback. Stellantis is making significant changes to turn its U.S. business around after a tough 2024 and departure of CEO Carlos Tavares, which I recently read. I think that they tried to get Tim Kazinskis, who is currently at Ram, previously at Dodge. Before that was with Ram, I believe. I think he was with Ram before Ram split into Dodge and Ram. And when it split, he was at Dodge now, and then he retired. Now he's back with Ram. It sounds like they offered him the CEO position and he turned it down. I think if there's any truth to that, I do think that kind of speaks volumes for itself. A man who has pretty much been involved in every single branch of Mopar, outside of Chrysler, turns down an opportunity like that. Why wouldn't you? Because you don't have faith in the direction that the company is going. Just like them Dallas Cowboys and that head coaching job at the Dallas Cowboys. It says, the title says head coach, but we all know who's running the ship, right? I feel like this is a move where he didn't want to be in that seat and be given the CEO badge, but still unable to call the shots that he wants to call. Just my Just my opinions on that. Combustion engines return in EVs possible if there's demand. Global automaker Stellantis is looking to bring back internal combustion engines in their electric vehicles given there is demand. Global automaker Stellantis is looking to bring back internal combustion engines. Okay, so Stellantis rumored to bring back the Dodge Stealth. Ugh, why? Stellantis shifts focus. So yeah, this is actually looking like this is looking pretty legit. I'm studying several different stories here. Now I am one repeating thing that I'm seeing is if it's supported, if it meets the demand, which I think all of us know that the demand is needed. That's why they are rumoring this story in the first place. That's why they're mentioning it. Sales tanked because nobody wants those cars, right? So it does look pretty legit. Pop on over here to Dodge. And yeah, as we can see right here, Dodge's website right now is kind of looking like Chrysler's was a couple of years ago. Only 3 models under the Dodge umbrella right now. It's terrible. The Charger, the Hornet, which nobody has. I have never, ever known anybody to have a Hornet. If you know somebody who has a Hornet, drop a comment down in that comment section. If you know somebody who loves the Hornet, drop a comment down below. I want to know, does anybody actually have that car? And then obviously the Durango, which I think we heard that the Durango is going to get a last call of a V8 engine as well, or the Hellcat, it's going to get the last call of its Hellcat, just like the TRX is going to have a last call, which I think is indicative of the mindset of Stellantis as well. If the Durango and the TRX are going to get one last run of Hellcat engines, now I know Hellcat is different than just your typical V8 Hemi, but if they're on the last calls, if they're still on last calls and they're talking about bringing back ICE engines, it just seems like it's leading towards inline 6s rather than V8s, which would be a very sad story. Now, in the case of a Chrysler fan, this could be a story that we are all too familiar with, the over-promise and under-deliver story. This is what we're going to talk about, and this is what we're going to give you. We've seen that all too many times. Chrysler is, the head of the Mopar umbrella, so it wouldn't be too much of a shock that, the rest are starting to follow suit with the new heads of the umbrella. Personally, if you ask me, I feel like this feels a little random, a little rushed. Everything that we've heard since the time that Stellantis has taken over the umbrella is that we're going EV, we're going EV, we're going EV. Now, this is a complete change, flip of the script. Like, when they first took over, they're gonna go EV no matter what the repercussions are. Cutting out all of the V8s, killing off the best-selling muscle cars in the world. These are extremely bold moves, right? And you don't really make bold moves unless you have a plan and you're willing to stick to that plan, right? So what changed now? Like they said, the landscape has changed. They're not giving up on EVs, but they're just kind of tweaking the plan. So what is warranting tweaking the plan? Is it simply sales? Is it trying to recapture sales? Probably. There's probably a little bit of it. I think also, though, they're having trouble getting these vehicles made the way they want to. I think they're having development issues that they didn't foresee. The Dodge Charger EV was supposed to come out early 2024. It very well came out late 2024. It only released at the very end of 2024 is when we started seeing them on the road. The Ram Revolution, which was announced before the Charger, again was slated to release in early 2024. We haven't heard anything since. We haven't seen that get released. They also have a Ram Charger coming out as well, which is a gasoline and gasoline powered electric vehicle, which actually sounds pretty cool. But we haven't seen anything. Jeep did have their hybrid, but it notoriously has recalls all over it. So for the most part, outside of the Chrysler Pacifica, which has been EV for a little while, they're having troubles releasing them when they say they're going to release them and then keeping them on the road when they do sell them and they are released. So I think it's a multiplicative issue. I think they're having production trouble with the EVs, and obviously sales are in the crapper because you took the largest gathering of muscle car heads, the most loyal family of muscle car heads, and told them that their cars weren't going to be muscle cars anymore. I think it's all par for the course, but I think it's all for the wrong reasons. And I think that when it's for the wrong reasons, the cars that we came up with, that we knew and we loved, are just probably going to be timepieces now. If they're just going to throw engines in there just to say that there's an engine in there and get people to buy it, then it's not going to have the dedication and the craftsmanship of just designing that car from the ground up to house a V8 engine, right? If it has a V8 engine. Think back to the scrapping of the SRT team. They got rid of the SRT team. That team wasn't in development anymore, working on any of those cars, and yet 4 years later, they still continue to put the SRT badge on that car. Just a hollow shell of it. Yes, the technology could still be in there, but we're now talking about dated technology. 2 to 3 years after the SRT team has been scrapped and the SRT badge is still being used on vehicles, it's been 3 years since SRT has had any hand in developing any of those vehicles. Each year, each model is a chance, if the SRT team still exists, to improve on last year's model. None of that wet work is being done anymore. So they kept on using the SRT badge, even though it was a hollow, empty shell of it. This kind of reeks of the same thing. We're going to throw engines back in there in cars that we didn't really design or intend to have engines in the first place. And we're going to throw it at the consumer, and we're going to convince them to come back to the Stellantis umbrella. That's what it feels like to me. Like I said, throwing it back at you guys. Let me know down in that comment section what you think. Is this a good move? Is this a bad move? Are you done with Mopar? Are you sticking with the classics for Mopar? Future of Mopar? What does it look like in your opinions? Let me know down in that comment section below. That's about it for me on this one. I'm Mr. J. This is Gotham Hemi, and until the next one, I'll catch you later. Peace.